is good for you, and the things that probably you will use in a future, right? Not only to fulfill or to complete this convention, but for the, I don't know, future things, or your plans, or when you are revising your curriculum, right? So today's session is about defining, or defining the design thinking, right? Which was one thing that you started to see the previous session, right? And that you were trying to find a a challenge. Yeah, you were trying to find a challenge, and today we're going to reinforce that part. So, as you might know, this is like the road we're taking in this convenio, right? Today we're having that moment in which there is a design thinking moment defined, and then we will work individually to reinforce it, and finally we will have a moment in which we prototype that. To start, I want you to read these three words: empathy, solution, trial, and error. And what does it tell you to you? What's that when you read them, you understand from these three words? For example, what's empathy for you guys?
Okay, empathy
Empathy.
can be when you know that, for example, in our personal experience, when students may have certain situations, and and you have to be a little bit flexible, try to understand and to find a way to help them be part of the process. It would be in daily life, it's basically similar to be in someone in other person's shoes, to understand a bit better the way they behave or the things they do.
In my case, I consider it's almost the same. So we have the idea is to have good relationships with the students. Yeah, the idea is to maintain a good environment with the students, with the class. Yeah, smiling all the time can be a way to see if we have a problem or something. Try to understand what is the problem and try to get an agreement with the person. Yeah, so there is to be happy with other people. I could say that's the empathy that we have to maintain in class. I don't know, Janet.
Yeah, so as you mentioned, guys, there are some keywords that you're pronouncing which are put on the other shoes, environment, agreements, right? Exactly. There are also some keywords different from this one, as well as solution, trial, and error. Yeah, the goal or the purpose with this is just for you to try to bear in mind this kind of approach, which is called design thinking, right? I don't know whether you remember the last session in which you started to see this about design thinking, and there was like an example or a situation, a story the, that you got. Do you remember that story about
This
the elevator?
the story of elevator? No, I've never listened to that kind of story.
Okay. And the others, did you listen to that story? You remember the story about the elevator dilemma?
I don't know
No.
if they are. The problem is that they are working out in the afternoon. They
Ah,
have
okay.
That's
So
the
they're not
problem I have. And Janet is in another course too.
okay.
And
Okay.
so sometimes we have many problems because of time, because we
Mhm.
have to teach class in the morning or in the afternoon. And sometimes we need maybe individual sections sometimes.
Okay.
Entonces,
Perfect.
so I consider it's important to talk about the schedules individually, definitely, because it was very hard to be together in these kind of meetings.
Perfect. So I try to do it very very. I'll go straight to the point with this presentation so that I can give you after this meeting. I will send this presentation so that you have your this one in your emails, guys, and then you can revise it and review it later, right? When you have time. And yes, it is quite important to have this moment in which we're going to work individually. That's good. But
Mhm.
yes, I will finish with this so that you know, like very general, what we're going to do. Okay. So
Okay.
what's design thinking, which is the approach I'm telling you, which is
Mhm.
a mindset and approach to learning, collaboration, and problem solving. The idea is to identify challenges, generate potential solutions, refine
Mhm.
ideas, and test solutions. Right? So here is quite important to understand that we're going to find a challenge according to your own experiences, the process in your classrooms. Right? So we're going to identify one challenge. Okay, this
Okay.
is an activity that I will ask you to describe what's happening in the photo. Right? We probably say that the boy is trying to reach a book, but he probably is going to get harmed, or it's not going to work, or it's not going to work that solution. So, what is that possible solution we will provide him, right? And the idea is at the end to see this guy or this boy as our students, right? Why are they trying to give that solution? What's the problem or in their context? So that we start thinking about the different parts of our learning process. So we need to take into account the classroom. Are we using in a different way the space? Are we innovating? Right? Are we paying attention to emotional well-being? What about the social learning? What about the use of technology in our classroom and in our classes? Right? And what about the curriculum? Is it the curriculum connected with our activities, right? Do we have our curriculum aligned with the currículo sugerido, right? Or at least does it have the characteristics to improve the 21st century skills on our students, which is the goal now to sharp these skills on our students.
Okay.
design thinking Design thinking in education, which is that teachers can use design thinking to plan lessons and curriculum adjustments that will work best for the students in a given school or classroom. So what the dilemma of the elevator was is that a bunch of people are in an elevator and they start to complain because the elevator takes too much time to go from one floor to the last floor or the one that the people are heading to, right? So the designers started to think, what do we do in order to solve that complaint, right? At the end, the answer is wasn't that they had to change the speed, but they included a mirror inside the elevator. So people started to use that elevator or that mirror to fix their hair, to make up, whatever, right? So at the end, they found that indeed the time wasn't enough for them to go from one floor to another. So the solution was thinking about the people, the user, instead of like the elevator, right? And that's what we want you to do, which is start thinking about your students and what are their needs. As I don't remember was teacher Natalia who said that. Yes, let's think about our students' needs. right? And from that, we start thinking about the possible solution. The
Mm-hmm.
idea is the idea is to create or to design this learning experience, but analyzing these six elements, right? By analyzing
Mm-hmm.
these six elements, which are learning environment. As you said, teacher
Hector
Hector.
or
Sorry,
Natalia?
I was going to tell you Victor. No,
Hector,
Hector.
yeah.
Hector. So, as you said, um, is this environment quite, I don't know, you said happy, right?
Hmm.
But yeah, it could be a good emotion, of course. Are they feeling okay? What's that what's their reaction when they see me coming to the classroom? Are they, oh my goodness, is that man again or that woman again, right? But, or are they happy to have this moment in which I am really having a moment in which they are or they think they are learning because they really appreciate it, right? And am I paying to the content, the material? Is it according to their level? Mm. The interaction. Is interaction student happening, student teacher happening, student content happening, right? What about the methodology? Do you remember, guys, the three methodologies the curriculum suggests?
Mm, yes, maybe. Yeah, I remember the last time we have to work something about the methodologies, technology use, and so I can't remember exactly what topics we saw with the gesture before, but I don't know where is the information. Yeah, I found here. So we
Okay,
have
if you're
three questions about it: the target languages, methodology, the content materials, learning environment, and technology. Exactly, yeah.
Thank you.
That's the same work that we had before.
Okay. Natalia, teacher Natalia.
well, if you're talking about methodologies, is that right? Remember that I'm
Yes.
in class. Okay, we most of the time use PPP, presentation, practice, and production,
Uh-huh.
and we can try task-based learning. And because sometimes we have, for example, these students in at home, I mean, in virtual classes, yes, um, we can try some blended learning, but it's difficult, you know. The
Of
the
course.
the one we use the most, I think, it's PPP because
Okay.
this is the way they are used to.
Yeah, it's true. It's true. So the idea at the end is to, or remember that the three, let's say that the three main methodologies the suggested English curriculum gives to teachers are TDL, which is the one that you were mentioning, task-based learning, project-based learning, and problem-based learning. Of course, they are not the only ones, right? But the idea is to one. I mean, once we start this process, that we can include at least PBI, which is starting to create projectos to include different. Remember that these kind of projects are cross curricular. They are interdisciplinary, right? So the idea is to use them so that we start creating an environment in which, let's say, the focus is not grammar, of course, but we use English in order to achieve one of the different or the four cross-curricular topics we have or we find in the curriculum. Remember the four topics?
The curriculum. So, so I have to see all the topics that we have, but I could say we have the same topics or themes taken directly from the standards
Uh-huh.
of
Yes.
the Ministerio de Educación. We've
Exactly.
taken many standards to define the possible topics for our classes. Yeah. But in
Yes.
most of the cases, for example, in sixth grade, we are working a lot of vocabulary related to the house, for example. Yeah, the
For
living
example.
room. Yeah, many phrases of the house and from the neighborhood too. Yeah, it's a simple vocabulary, simple structures, and
Yes.
yeah, that's
Yeah.
the
The, the,
things.
the four topics that the curriculum suggests are sustainability, globalization, democracy, right?
Hmm.
Remember those topics?
That's I could say that those topics are very complex. Anyway, but
Yeah.
we have that kind of topics that in a complex way in 10th and 11th grades.
Okay. But let's say that we can, of course, adapt those topics to each situation and to each context. For example, if I do a project about music, what is the big topic in which I can put music?
Mm-hmm.
Globalization, right? Which is about
Mm-hmm.
music, international music, so I can put it in that topic. So let's say that it's not that complex, but I can of course put it in the level they need. So that's what a learning experience is to bear in mind to have take into account these six items, which are these ones. Of course, paying attention to the use of the what's the target of language I want to work on, and what about the technology? Is a helpful tool, or could it be obstacle for me?
Mm-hmm.
Right? Let's say that we started to use technology since we had this situation, and now we know a little bit more about that. But the idea, teachers, is that we can create that challenge I told you, right? That is, I don't know, probably you say, okay, I want to start connect curricular criteria into my lesson plans, right? Am I having these criteria reflected in my classes? Am I working in collaborative work? I am fostering the 20% skills, or what's happening in my class, right? Or if I want to know better how to use technology.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what I want you to start thinking, which is a challenge, right? A possible challenge. Mm. And then we will start working on that challenge individually, right? Remember that there are 4 units that they're going to help you to define and to prototype that challenge and the possible solution. That's the goal in this conveyor, right? Remember that we want you to create that challenge and the possible solution, and if we have time to implement it. If there's no time, don't worry, right? But the idea is that you start thinking of this or using the material that you will find in the modules at Moodle. Have you already access to that platform, or did you register to the Moodle?
No, we don't. In my case, I don't have that access to Moodle. No,
But did you register or not yet?
no, I could say all of us don't have that access.
Okay, so I
Yeah.
will at the end of the meeting I will send the link for you to register to the Moodle, and then they will create the users and the
Mm-hmm.
password so that you can access. You will
Yeah.
find five units. Each unit will help you to solve one of the possible challenges you will find, right? Which is implementing curriculum, including tics in my plans,
Mm-hmm.
or regarding about assessment, right?
Mm-hmm. This is nice. We will have this is nice for us that we are
Yes,
seeing
of course. If
because
you
is the idea is to see what we have to do and analyze carefully each one of the equations and yeah. So the idea is to use it in my personal work, in my personal design of the class.
Of course. That's what I told you at the beginning, which is since you don't have that much time, so I will send the these slides so that you have access to it and you can revise it later when you have time.
Okay.
Right? Mhm. But let's finish with the general idea, and then we can work on that part that I told you. And
Yeah.
yeah, we finish. So this I thinking is about what innovative analytical ideas that are not finished, being willing to share your creative ideas even they are not done, working with others to create great things for your school, sorry, experiential learning and listening, and a fundamental belief that we can all create a change. Right? It's important to start thinking about how to work as a team, right? Because this is quite useful, and this is not for you to have more or extra work, but once you design and once you have clear your mallas, your planes de área, your unidades didácticas, it's going to be a lot easier for you because you can use it as a dossier. That's going to be your portfolio about activities, and you don't have to create new things. Of course, you can have some adjustment for those things, but then you have like a basis to work on something that will be a lot easier for you. And if you create projects among all of you, that will be a lot more funnier and easier, right? If we create projects, so you say, okay, guys, this term we're going to work on this project no matter if we are in sixth grade or seven or nine or the last grade, right? But we can implement a project, the same project, according to the level, right?
Yeah.
So you see, if we can start having this agreement among us, that would be a lot easier. So the idea is to find the real challenge, as I told you, right? Do you remember the previous session? That you
Mm.
found some insights.
A previous session. No, I can't remember.
It's kind of difficult because it was like 2 months ago, right? But the idea is to start thinking about the perspective. It's quite simple. I mean, I want you to see the green stickers and the orange stickers. What's the difference between the green stickers? Students need more engaged topics.
Mm-hmm.
Students need more dynamic activities to motivate them. Students need to be the center of the class. Students need to interact among them. And that's the insights about the biology class that you watched. But the insights from my class, for example, teachers need to empower the English students' perspective. Teachers need to adapt curricula according to the students' needs, and so on. What's the difference between the green ones and the orange ones?
Okay. Images from my class and insights from my biology class. The difference. Maybe the context at the green cards can be context and the second can be, I don't know, maybe could be a material you to related to the topics. Maybe use material to have or to get sense of some phrases or sentences. Yeah, like a support. Yeah.
Indeed, it's quite easy. The answer is quite easy, right? But it's just for you to see that how. I mean, it's that obvious that we don't pay attention to that, right? And it is about the focus, teacher Hector. I want you to see what's the focus on the green ones and what is the focus on the orange ones.
Focus. I don't know.
Yes. How do they start in the green ones?
Maybe Magda or Natalia know it.
No, I know that you know it, but it's because it's quite simple. It's very, very
Mm.
simple, and the answer is very, very simple. But sometimes when it is too obvious,
What's wrong
they
with
don't.
examples? Mm.
I don't know whether they are reading that. Do you have any opinion,
Mm.
teacher Natalia, teacher Magda? And what happened with teacher Janet? She left.
Mm. No, she has a diplomado right now, Janet. She's taking a diplomado with Colombo Americano. Yeah, it's
Okay.
another part of the bilingual process that we are having. So
Okay, okay, okay.
yeah, so we have more or less 3 or 4 projects at the same time.
Oh my
So
goodness.
and so they are very busy now, and they are working now. For example, Natalia and Magda are working in the afternoon, and they have class now. And the problem is that we have had many changes in the schedule. So because they are busy now because the schedule changed. That's
Okay, I got it.
the things that we have to see for the next meetings.
Okay. Yes, no, we have to do it individually so that
Yeah.
you
See,
I
yeah, at
can.
any way it is better because we are very busy, especially because we have many things or projects that we have to work a lot.
Mhm. Okay.
But I could
So
say this material is useful. Yeah, we are seeing, or we have to check exactly what is the real sense of this, and we are using in our classes. Obviously, it's important. I
yeah,
consider.
exactly. The idea is at the end that you have all this material. For example, I don't know, in 2 years that you say, I remember that that guy from the British, he told us something about this. And then you find that you have the material and you find that you have how to assess your students in a formative way or how to plan your classes in a very structured way, right? Or how to different things. So the idea is, of course, that you at the end have all these materials in a future or if you want to use it now, but whenever you have time to check
Okay,
check them out.
but I don't know what is the wrong with this.
Okay, okay. No, you know what's the let's say that it is not wrong, but
Mm,
because we want to change the perspective,
mm,
the thing that we want to correct here is that the orange ones,
mm,
the focus is on the teacher,
mm.
right?
Insights from my class. Okay.
Exactly. I'm paying
Insights,
attention is
ideas.
exactly. So I'm paying attention only to me as a teacher, right? And probably
Mm-hmm.
that's what is being an obstacle for me to have empathy, which is it's about me,
Mm-hmm.
and also because it's not. I don't want to blame. Okay, to have all the blame on me, right? No, because I need to start giving some responsibility to their own process, and students have to be responsible for from their own process. So I need to start paying attention is or focus, giving the focus on them,
Mm-hmm.
right? So I
Okay.
have to change that. Students need to be empowered,
Mm-hmm.
for example. Students need to get adapted to the curriculum, for example,
Mm-hmm.
right? So that I can see because probably I can implement the best activities that I have ever planned, but they are not working. And what?
Mm-hmm.
Why? So I start paying attention. Is because I didn't plan it very well? Is because this activity? No. I need to see why my students are not enjoying or learning from the activity that I presented this afternoon. So I start to see what's the problem.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe students are shy, they don't want to pronounce because they feel they're going to be embarrassed, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that's the minimum thing I want to, or we want to start changing, which is the perspective. So I don't have
Mm-hmm.
all the responsibility on me, but also I give the responsibility to students, right?
Mm-hmm.
And also I can start feeling that empathy, which is why. And as teacher Natalia mentioned, to put on the students' shoes,
Mm-hmm.
which is different from yes, it's because I didn't plan, or it's because the activity I didn't select the best activity. No, it's not all. It's not you as a teacher, right? You have your experience, and of course, the idea is that you continue
Mm-hmm.
improving your formation, professional formation, but also how
Mm-hmm.
do I apply this, but taking into account the
Mm-hmm.
results in our students.
Yeah, exactly.
So at the end, is the students need to use English for basic communication in the classroom, such as asking questions, interacting, because that will increase their self-confidence in English. right? So in this case, I am paying attention to their needs. How do I make, guys, to have my students asking basic questions, personal questions, right? Because that's a problem. For example, if I visit a school and then I ask a student, "Hey, how are you?" and the student is like in shock, they are frozen because they don't even know how to say, "I'm okay, I'm all right." No, they are frozen because they are not used to that, right? So what if I start doing that, like having them getting familiar to those kind of questions among them, right? What,
Mhm.
what about if I create a circle and I ask one of my students, okay, what's your name? Ah, my name is Pablo. Pablo, what's her name? The girl is right behind her, behind him. So I don't know. Okay, ask her, and then
Mhm.
he has to ask her, hey, what's your name? Mariana. Okay, Pablo, what's her name? Ah, her name is Mariana. Simple,
Mhm.
right? But they are using many things here, using WH question, using possessive adjective, using third person, you know.
Mhm.
But it's very simple, and they are getting self confidence because they
Mhm.
know how to use it. And the exercise is quite simple, but it is going to have a great impact.
Mhm.
So that's what I want you to think. What is that what we are going to design, to define, right? These are the steps which are empathize, define, ideate. Then we will have in the last moment, which is going to be the next or the next meeting, prototype, and finally try to implement it. We don't have time, remember? Don't worry, it's okay. But at least that we can prototype, right?
Mhm.
We are in this moment which is define and ideate. So I want you to think of one of your classes, guys. Try to think of the last class you had or one
Mhm.
activity that you implemented, and then try to find that possible insights about your classes. Remember, focus or the center of the process is the student, right? Not you
Mhm.
or your performance, but what happened with their performances, right?
Mhm.
So we can use this, the HMW, which is to create a question according to the insight. We have the example of an insight, which is students need to improve pronunciation in order to communicate clearly, right? Students need to improve pronunciation in order to, you see, the focus is my students, right? Then I will see how to accomplish that. But the HMW question, what is the how might we? So how might we improve pronunciation in students? So I want you to think of that challenge that you probably found, and then in the next meeting, which is individually, we will
Mhm.
try we will try to give the solution to that challenge. Okay. So in
Okay.
this moment, I will send you share this Jamboard to you, and I
Mhm.
want you to give me a second. I want you to choose one of the slides to give the challenge.
Okay.
Give me a second and I will share it. Okay.
Pair work.
Okay, if you want to do it by pairs, it's okay. If no, because as you told me, it's kind of difficult.
Yeah, because we're working individually at moment because of
Uh-huh.
the biosecurity norms.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Yeah, because so we have to keep the distance and they have to use masks so they can be close because we have a complex situation now with the virus.
I absolutely understand it. Yeah.
But we could
So,
have many interviews in keeping distance. We could, yeah, so we
okay.
could develop many activities in that way.
Very good. So I want you to enter the Jamboard, please.
Jamboard.
Yes.
But teacher, I can't do it because I'm working from my cell phone and it asks me to download the application.
It's okay. I just want you to have the link, and you can do it later in your laptop or. But I
Okay,
want
sure.
you to. But I want you to see at least what the explanation is. Okay,
Yes,
and
yes,
then
I'm
you.
trying to pay attention, so
Perfect. Perfect.
I'll fill it in later if it's possible.
Okay. 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 So, as you see, we have the impact matrix. I want you to choose one of the slides. We have 7 options there. So you write down your name here in one of them. For example, here, entonces,
Okay.
right? Write down your name. And here we find this high, low, impact, and effort, right?
Mm-hmm.
So what is that you consider is a high? Okay, this is a low effort for me as teacher,
Mm-hmm.
right? And but it is a high impact on learning, or
Mm-hmm.
probably it's a low effort for me and also it's a low impact on learning.
Mm-hmm.
Or is that a high effort for me but a high impact on learning? Or is a high effort for me but a low impact on learning? And according to that, you're going to put, if you want this text, if you want to use it a text, or if you want to use a sticker, you can say, I don't know. For example, the one that I told you, to make a circle or to have my students asking basic personal question, right?
Mm-hmm.
What is that? What do you consider? Is that a low effort for me with a high impact, or is a high effort for me with a low impact?
Mm-hmm.
I think it would be low effort for teachers, low impact for learners
Okay,
because
so
the exigent the task is not that exigent,
okay,
but it depends on the class too. So what you okay. So you want us to propose to give examples of
exactly. You're going to find a
okay
challenge. That is a
okay
challenge, and then
okay
you place it. You place it in the part you consider it is,
Mm-hmm.
right?
okay all right
Like the example I gave you, then and you told me, okay, it's low and low, so I will place it here, and then try
okay
to find another one with for each one,
Mm-hmm.
right?
right
And based on that, we are going in our next meeting, which is individually, we're going to find that challenge that you want to focus on. Just one challenge, probably
okay
regarding the use of technology. Sorry, the you or implementing the modules, the topics, the big topics in my plans, or improving pronunciation, whatever the challenge you consider it is, right?
Okay.
So that's the homework. This is the homework, right?
In homework.
Yes, because I know that at this moment you cannot do it. Probably you are busy, you don't have access to the document, right? But please
Mm-hmm.
get the link, get the Jamboard. You already have access to it. Choose one of the slides.
Mm-hmm.
Try to select one of the slides, and then
Mm-hmm.
I will start asking for you individually to have that moment with me, which is maximum 1 hour, to
Mm-hmm.
define the challenge and to find the at least 2 solutions, right?
Mm-hmm.
For that.
like
So I'm
like an
going.
activity or something that we create, for example, for mirror equations, and to see what is the impact and what is the effort.
Exactly, exactly.
Any
It's an
activity that we
activity.
want. Mm-hmm.
Exactly. I suggest you to think of one activity that you already had in your classes and that
Yeah.
you think it went it went okay or not that well, right? And then how do we improve it?
Yeah.
Or a new thing that you haven't ever tried, right? But
Mm-hmm.
the idea, of course, is exactly that, which is think of an activity or
Mm-hmm.
something that you have ever wanted to implement, and then
Mm-hmm.
I will give you the material, the resources for you to achieve it, right?
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So, what's the next thing to do? I will send this Jamboard to the WhatsApp group again, so you have it there,
Mm-hmm. Okay.
and I will what's okay. I will send the presentation as a PDF as well,
Mm-hmm.
so that you have access to that presentation. And the idea is to define that, like what's that activity that represents low effort, high impact, high effort, high impact, low effort, low impact, high effort, low impact,
So
right?
we have to find three activities that could maybe so for a low if effort, so we have an activity,
Yes, but
a high effort or another activity or the same
it's okay.
activity.
Okay, let's try to find to put at least two of them.
Ah, yeah.
Okay, yes, at least two of them that you consider. Okay, this activity, for example, I'm going to
Mm,
give another example. Giving or expanding the vocabulary
mm-hmm,
in my students. So I just select the area of knowledge. I don't know, places for having fun. So I find the vocabulary, a list of vocabulary on internet. I copy
mm-hmm,
and paste, and then I give my students that list.
mm-hmm,
Uh, Learn by heart that vocabulary, and I will evaluate it by asking you 5 words.
mm-hmm.
What is that?
Mm-hmm.
Low effort, high
High,
impact, low effort, low impact. What is it?
I could say it is high effort for especially, but not only for the teacher, to for the student, because they have to memorize a lot of information. Yeah, so I
Okay.
could say it's not only for the teacher.
Okay, so
Yeah.
that's what you're doing, right? Try to
Mm-hmm.
think of that. But also, if we find
Mm-hmm.
then later in our individual sessions, if we find it like very difficult to do it, or how do I improve that my
Mm-hmm.
students learn for real that vocabulary, and then they
Mm-hmm.
can apply it in a different context, so we will
Yeah.
try to improve it, right?
Yeah. For example, using the past perfect in eighth grade. Very complex word to do it with the
Okay,
students. That for me
exactly.
could be a high effort for the teacher. It's a
Okay,
very
that could be
complex
one.
topic to teach.
Excellent. So that's your challenge. How
Yes,
do
a
I teach,
challenge.
or how do I have my students remember that the focus are students? How do I have my students using present perfect
In past.
in the, for example,
Yeah.
but remember that the focus is not only grammar, but
Yeah.
there must be like a real learning
Mm,
experience. Why?
mm,
Okay, what if I may or have them learning present perfect
mm.
uh, in order for them to talk about their experiences?
Yeah.
I don't know, right? But let's try to, and that's what's going to happen in our individual sessions,
Yeah.
right?
So it's very
So,
important to understand that kind of what in the sense of the impact matrix. Yeah, it's very important to do it. But I understand it's an activity, but not related to grammar. But yes, like a general topic or yeah, it's
excellent,
better.
excellent, exactly, exactly. Remember that what we want to create in our classes is like a very
Mm,
complete session, ¿no?
mm.
Como algo muy integral,
Yeah,
finding all the dimensions of the student, right?
dimensions.
Like
Okay.
all the dimensions, yes. So that's it. That's the activity, guys. I tried not to take you more time because I
Hmm.
know that you're busy. So yes, I know. I can understand that. And
Hmm.
okay, give me a second.
Okay.
And wait a minute, please.
So, So next meetings will be individually uh, to present this work that we have, this homework that we have.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah, that will be. But if you can do it, for example, today, that would be nice. Try to do it because if you forget it, you
Mm.
will never open the link again.
Yeah.
So try guys to do it today, please. And yeah, we will. I will save this Jamboard so
Hmm.
that we can work on that next meeting. Right.
Okay.
That's it. That's yes. I did it very fast because yeah, I understand that you are. Yes, I understand. But if you have more time, we can continue working. But I know that you don't have time.
Yeah.
So do that, please. And this is what we're going to start working on the next session,
Hmm.
right? Like, how do I find more information in order to find the solution to that challenge, right?
Hmm.
And then we will see that, for example, making a survey that can help me too, right?
Okay.
And yeah, we will work on those things individually. That's
Individually.
it.
Okay. So thank
And
you very much for your time here with us. But as I told you before, the problem is specifically time because we are busy all the time, and maybe we
mhm,
need a lot of sessions individually, as you see here.
yes,
Mm.
yes, I got it. I understand it perfectly. So,
And we are
guys,
in all of us. We are in WhatsApp, so in the group. So there are many cell phones, and you could talk to each one of the teachers. And yeah,
okay,
that's easy.
perfect.
In that
Thank
way,
you very
we
much.
could go in advance.
Excellent. Okay, thank you. Yes, I will do that.
Yeah.
Yes,
Okay, thank you very much. But when is the next meeting, please?
that's what I will start asking in the WhatsApp group. Like, when do you have time?
Mm.
Because the next meetings are individually. So if you tell me, okay, Andres, I can see you on Sunday at 6 a.m. Okay, let's do it. I know that you're not going to do that, right? But what I am meaning is like when you have time, whenever you have time.
It's supposed to be a sub.
It would be nice, but if you have time this week, let's do it next week.
Okay, in my case, I could do it in a week.
Okay, so let me write here. So teacher Natalia, next week. Do you have the specific day and the
Thursday,
time?
on Thursday. On Thursday, if you can, around 2 or 3 p.m.
Okay, 2 or 3 p.m. Very good.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. And I will start asking the other teachers in the WhatsApp so they tell me like what's the best schedule for them.
Yeah.
And then I will send, as I told you, this Jamboard again, the link. The
Hmm.
next thing is the presentation and also the survey. Remember, at the end of each presentation, I have to send you like a cuesta de satisfacción so that you can help me with that. Okay?
Yeah. I will.
And mhm,
And are you going to share this document with us through WhatsApp? Where?
through WhatsApp. Yeah.
And I can find the link for the Jamboard there?
Yes, I will share it in that WhatsApp group.
I thank you very much. Thank you.
And of course, I will appreciate if you can share this information for the ones who were not able to attend the meeting.
Okay.
Okay? Because they probably ask, and what do we have to do with this? Yeah?
Probably. Yes, yes.
Probably. And if not, and if you cannot do it, you can tell them to ask me. Of course, I will tell them that they can give me the moment individually, and I will explain them in that moment as well. But if
Ah,
you
okay.
can do it, but if you can do it as well, I will appreciate it.
Okay.
Okay, that's it. Thank you very much for attending. I know that it's a great effort from you guys, so I really appreciate it.
No, thank you, Andres.
A pleasure.
Are we supposed to do the quest with you or no?
Uh, Try to do the jamboard, which is select the activities that you consider high impact, low effort, and so on. And in the
Okay.
next meeting, we continue working on that to define just one challenge and the possible solutions. That's what
Okay.
we're going to work together.
Okay. Okay, thank you very much.
My
Thanks for
pleasure.
your help.
See you on Thursday.
See you then on Thursday. Bye bye.
Okay. Bye bye.
Bye. Thank you very much.
Thanks a lot
Thank
for
you,
your
teacher.
time.
Okay,
Bye
teacher
bye.
Magda. Bye bye. Thank you, teacher Hector.
Okay.